Hey guys, welcome to my channel All in One. So in today's video we will be talking about leadership and emotional intelligence. So this is a course on Coursera which I'm going to explain in short. It means I'm going to tell the summary of that course. So let's get started with the video. Here is the explanation of leadership and emotional intelligence. In this video, we will cover some topics, and the topics are: what is leadership? Next, keys to develop EQ. After that, listening with empathy, expectation from frontline leader, effective delegation, 5 steps in delegation. Next, conflict management style. Next, Kurt Lewin change model. As I told you, our first topic will be what is leadership. So here is the definition of leadership. First, how to handle the other team members when you are not in the fine situation, and leads the other team members by helping and demonstrating the work. So next question is, what makes a leader? Here is the explanation of what makes a leader. So a good leader must have integrity, clear goals, good examples, vision, clear communication, expects the best, support, encouragement, and many more qualities. Now, there are two terms more: intelligent quotient and emotional quotient. In short, you can call it IQ and EQ. So everyone is as smart as others. It is all about how people manage themselves and their relationship. You have to be smart in a different way, and there IQ comes from. So as I told you about two terms in the last slide, first one was emotional quotient and intelligent quotient. So here we will be talking about emotional quotient first. So emotional quotient is the ability to manage ourselves and our relationships effectively. EQ leads to 90% of your success at work, and there are 4 factors in EQ. So the first factor is self-awareness, second self-management, next empathy, and next social skills. So let's explore them in the next slide of EQ. So first is self-awareness. So if we talk about self-awareness, we all need to assess ourselves, and we should be knowing ourselves what is our capability to do any work and to take responsibilities. So next term is self-management. In this, we have to check ourselves that how capable are we to manage anything. Are we able to manage a discussion with our team members? Are we able to manage ourselves, even prioritize the work? And can we accept the changes? Can we manage the team members? Can we manage our team? Point is empathy. So when it is missing, then you do not listen to other people, and sometimes you lose the touch of the people as well. Means you are not in touch of anybody, and sometimes you don't recognize the right things, and you don't appreciate the differences. Next, but when you are with empathy, when you have empathy for any work, so of course you will get into other shoes, and you will realize the situation, you will feel the situation, relate other people, you will try to relate the situation with other people as well, and you will value differences as well. Next is social skills. So in this, we have to check ourselves, how capable are we for socializing with others. Like for an example, can we build strong team bonds? Can we inspire people, motivate them to pursue shared mission? So these all are the abilities which we must have in social skills. Keys to develop EQ, emotional quotient. As I have already talked about this, so I will not talk much about this. So here, keys to developing emotional intelligence. First, you should be strong and self-motivated. Next, focus on specific improvement areas. Next, practice new behavior. And last, give time and attention to unlearning and relearning. Next topic, listening with empathy. So as I told you that there are 4 factors. Next topic is listening with empathy. So there are 5 types of listening. First is ignoring. Second, pretend to listen. Third, selective listening. Fourth, attentive listening. And the last, empathetic listening. Here, now let's talk more about these 5 points. First is ignoring. So in this level, you actually ignore the person who is speaking with you. You may be busy with your cell phone, or you may be busy to listen or to type anything in your cell phone. Second, pretend to listen. Now, in this case, in this level, you pretend that you are listening, but actually you are not. Next, selective listening. In this level, you focus on some of the areas of the talk, but not completely. For an example, if somebody takes your name in the conversation, you will be attentive and you will be listening to that particular talk. But again, you will lose interest because you will not find the things interesting for you. Next is attentive listening. So in that scenario, you are actually listening to the person and you are trying to understand the person, what the person is saying. Last, empathetic listening. In this level, you listen to the person completely with complete focus, and you try to clear your doubts by asking some questions, by giving some gestures and saying oh, okay, like that. Now let's talk about benefits of active listening. So as it is already written, understand other person's point of view. So if you listen somebody carefully and actively, so you can understand other person's points of view easily. Next, leads to stronger inspirational relationship. Last, helps both the speaker and the listener. So it is very much important to listen somebody actively, because it helps the speaker and the listener to be on track and to have a fruitful conversation. Next, now there is something which we all need to focus on. So whenever we talk something, whenever we speak something to anyone, so here you can see by this picture you can understand your actual words are 10% and the way you speak, that matters a lot. So the actual words are 10%, your voice and tone, body language and your feelings matter a lot, and this makes 90%, and that's how it becomes 100%, and that's how people listen to somebody. Now let's talk about our next topic. So our topic is expectations from frontline leaders. So there are some expectations from the frontline leaders. So let's read them one by one. So first is competent and confident, energetic and enthusiastic. I hope you understand it clearly. Next, motivate people and address issues. So the leaders must motivate to their team members and to their co-workers and addresses the issues as well. Next, take initiative in solving problems. So a leader must take initiatives to solve any problems. Our next topic is 5 steps in the delegation process. Before we go ahead, we must know what is delegation. Delegation means which work to assign to our other team members. So first point is determine which task to delegate. Second, identify the right person for the job. Next, assign the task. Next, monitor progress and provide feedback. And the last, evaluate performance. So first of all, recognize which work to assign, and then find out the right person to assign that work. Then assign the work. After that, you need to monitor the task time to time. Last, evaluate performance. You need to see whether the person is improving in the work or not. Let's move ahead. Conflict management style. So here, by the picture only, you can understand there are 2 people in the white dress. They may have a conflict, they may have a problem, and the person who is in the red color dress, he is going to solve that conflict. So for solving any conflict, we have these ways. So first is competing. So when you see the person is as capable as you are in any work, so over there you need to compete and you need to win by your own. Next, collaborating. You find a person that a person is also saying right and you think that this point also can be right, over there you can shake hand and you can collaborate with the person. Next, avoiding. When you see the issue is not important and the person is also not important, you avoid the situation. Next, accommodating. When you find somebody is unable to understand you, but you know that you are right and your point of view is right, so over there you need to accommodate. Next is compromising. Next is compromising. In compromising, you compromise the things because you think you will have any other way or better way than this, so you compromise the situation. Next, our next topic is Kurt Lewin change model. Change and refreeze. Here, I would like to explain it with the help of an example. Let's say you are a leader, you are a new leader of any company. Over there, you got the chance to lead your company. Now, the people, the team members are with the old system, with the old habit of work. So now you have to bring the change in the team. So over here, first of all, you will unfreeze them. Means ensures that employees are ready for change. You need to make sure that every employee is ready for the new change. Next, change. Execute the intended change. Means tell the change what we are going to change, and you need to make them understand that what will be the benefit and how the things will change. Next, refreeze. Ensure that the change becomes permanent. When you change some good habits in those people, in the team members, so after that you have to refreeze them. So the last option is refreeze. Ensures that the change becomes permanent. Means once you do the change in your department, make sure the change will be permanent. Means you will stop that change. Others will not go out of the track and they will do the same what other team members are doing. So no one will make a great leader who wants to do it all himself or get all the credit for doing it. Means you cannot be a leader if you are the person only you want to do all the things for everybody. You will never be a great leader.